Hello, it's time for Flashback, the weekly history quiz. Let's find out what's happened in history and see if I can improve on last week's, which was not my finest performance. We'll start in 1665 when when actors put on the first play in colonial America. They're quickly arrested for public wickedness. All right. In the Republic, Plato imagines an invisibility ring. Would a person who could not be seen nor caught act morally? Well, obviously that's well before 1665. Millennia before it, obviously. And here we have a student of embroidery and pointillism, the artist Susan. I know this person, Susan Carr, but I don't know if her name is pronounced Susan Carr or Care or Carre, but Susan Carr creates whimsical pixel-based icons for the first Mac, which is obviously much later than 1665, the 1980s, I would think. Yeah, 84. Okay. Inspired by a fellow traveler, Agatha Christie decides to take a dream trip. She'll ride a luxury train called the Orient Express. When do I think that is? The 1920s? 28, yep. Okay, a father, David McCall, realizes his son remembers song lyrics, but not math. He sets education to music, creating the TV series Schoolhouse Rock. I think this is probably the 70s. It really feels like it would be the 70s. It is, 1973. It's a nice origin story. P.T. Barnum buys a giant beloved elephant from London. Its name becomes a word for large things of all kinds, jumbo. I think this is probably before 1928. Yeah, considerably before 1882. Okay, should have been more confident about that. Anyway, China's emperor builds the Forbidden City and Imperial Palace complex to assert his power. He also sends large fleets to sail the world. I'm going to say before 1665, 1406. There we go. So a couple centuries before. U.S. troops bring a message for enslaved African Americans in Texas. They're free. The day becomes known as Juneteenth. I assume that'll be somewhere around 1865. Oh, whoops, I almost placed that wrong. Sorry. I just read the numbers incorrectly. It is exactly 1865. Okay, that's what I would have thought. Okay, construction begins on Notre Dame in Paris. Its flying buttresses allow for taller walls and bigger windows, bathing the interior in light. Do I think that's before or after 1406? I think it's going to be right around there. That's the problem. If I had to guess, I would guess the 1300s, which I do. I do have to guess. Oh, it's even earlier, 1163. Right, sorry. Okay. Well, I guess my instinct was sort of right, but I was still way off in terms of my specific year. Anyway, it was close enough to get me a perfect score, so I'll take it. Oh, and this must have been a tricky one this week because perfect was the third most common category. It's often the first or second. Let's see what people misplaced. Oh, Notre Dame. Right. So people would have placed that later, I suppose. Interesting. I guess that's fair enough. So about 2/3 of people misplaced that. About 1/5 of people misplaced the Forbidden City. About 16% of people misplaced the first Juneteenth. 12% misplaced Jumbo and P.T. Barnum. So we just had sort of things distributed all over the guesses. I mean, there was one big incorrectly guessed one, which was Notre Dame. But other than that, things are just sort of scattered around. Just about everybody got Agatha Christie right. That's not a surprise. Nearly a quarter of people misplaced Schoolhouse Rock. That's interesting. Maybe they thought it was the late 80s? It's the only other thing I can think of because that would be after 1984 here. And of course, just about everyone got that right. Okay, well, there we go. Those were some interesting events in history. Sorry, it suddenly seems to have gotten the light hiccups. I'll be back with more of this next week. Join me then. Bye for now.